This is Mr. Payton. Welcome back to Mental Fitness. I was talking to, communicating with a former student the other day on social media and congratulating him on the season, whatever. And we were just talking a little bit about what had been accomplished this year. He's a senior, and I had a chance to coach him in middle school. And it made me think about goal setting. The thing about goal setting is that a lot of times we come up with goals and we have a decent plan or whatever and give ourselves a fair timeline. But I wonder if we do any research before we set goals. Particularly right now, I'm going to really focus in on people who have like sports goals, whether it's to make the team, score a certain amount of points, or get a certain number of goals, or have a certain number of kills in volleyball. But you know, we come up with these goals, and one of the things I wonder is if we research that. So for example, if you're a volleyball player and you say, well, I want to have a certain amount of kills, did you go back and look and see how many kills you had the year before? Did you look and see what's a good amount of kills for someone to have? In other words, are you coming up with a goal that makes any sense? Is it realistic? And I'm not saying you shouldn't shoot for the moon, but for example, if a kid has a goal of scoring 1,000 points in the season, the team only plays 8 games, and that doesn't make any sense. Now that's a far-fetched example, but the point being, you need to take a look at what the goals are you're setting. So back to this conversation. Now this kid, I'll tell you right now, he was the kind of kid that drove me crazy at practice. You know, every time you told him something, he had the answer. If you tried to tell him to work on his game, he always had a reason why. He didn't need to work on it and all that kind of stuff. And so I took to calling him Captain America because I said, you know, since you're perfect, I'm just going to call you Captain America. You're a super soldier. You know, you have no flaws. And so that was kind of our running joke. And at some point, you know, he came to me. He was like, yo, man, you know, don't call me Captain America anymore. He says, I know what you're doing. And I'm like, well, I wasn't trying to go over your head. I was saying it directly to you. I said, I don't understand how you expect to get any better if you don't take any criticism. And I think he really, you know, took that in. And so he got himself in shape and just really worked on his game. And so got to the point where, you know, he's a starter on his varsity team. Not sure if he was the leading scorer, but one of the leading scorers, and ended up making his all-region team. And it's interesting because, you know, again, as we were communicating, I let him know that I was proud of him. He did a great job. And he was saying that, you know, his next goal is to go, you know, and play at the college level. And it really made me think, does he know what it takes to play at the college level? You know, what college does he want to play at? Does he want to play at a 2-year school, 4-year school? Is he looking at Division III, Division II, NAIA, Division I? And so I just think it's important when we make goals, we do the research and make sure that what we're coming up with is realistic. The other part of setting goals is that sometimes it's going to take multiple smaller goals to get there. And so, you know, when I made my push, you see I'm wearing the NBA jacket. I love the NBA, love basketball. When I made my push when I was in college, I got to my last season. I was shooting the 3-ball really well. That was kind of my forte. And I'm kind of like a lot of players. I hated that people only saw me as a 3-point shooter, but I also understood that that was my strength. So, you know, I shot well over 45% for the year and always shot 90% for free throw. Like I'm a shooter. That's what I am. And I remember going to my first pro combine. It was the first and my last. It was in New England where I was going to school. And you walk in and, you know, everybody's got a little bit of an ego. Hey, man, you know, I'm nice. You know, I can ball. I'm coming here and show you guys what I can do. And I'm telling you right now, it was the most intimidating environment I've ever been in. Not because of the players, but because of the evaluators. You know, now, I'm going to tell you straight up, I wasn't at an NBA combine. I was at a pro combine. So that means I had a lot of overseas scouts and things like that looking. And overseas game is different. And this is back in the late 90s. So, you know, it was all about size and strength. You need to be able to handle the physical contact. Overseas, more physical and all this kind of stuff. They weren't looking for people who could run and jump. And they had shooters. So they were looking for people who were really big and physical who were also athletic. I didn't fit that bill. On my best day, I weighed 190 pounds at 6'5", so that's not considered to be a big guy as a basketball player. So I just remember walking away from that knowing that I didn't know what I was walking into. I didn't know what that particular combine was looking for. Quite honestly, I probably wasted my time there in terms of trying to make it pro. In terms of life experience, it was wonderful, but in terms of making pro, I shouldn't have been at that combine. they were looking for 6'8", 230, 220-pound, either some guy who could shoot the elbow jump shot or somebody who could block shots. That's all they were looking for, size. They didn't care about me being a shooting guard and being able to shoot the jumper really well and being able to move and come off screen. They didn't care about any of that. Again, I didn't do the proper research. And I'll be honest with you, I was very discouraged by that. By the time I came back home here to Arizona, I was just kind of set that I wasn't going to go pro, and so I just played in pro-ams and just continued to love the game and play the game. But I got so discouraged by that because I hadn't had a great season in terms of scoring. Again, all my percentages were high, but I just hadn't gotten enough touches. And so I figured, you know what, man, if somebody wants to find me, they know where I'm at. Otherwise, I'll just keep moving where I want to go. But the lesson that taught me is that just having a goal and working really hard is great, but if you don't know specifically what to work on, in other words, if you don't know what steps to take to get to a goal, you can end up spinning your wheels. So I just really want to encourage people out there. Setting goals are great, and trying to achieve your goals are a wonderful thing. You should always look to do that. But make sure you take a look at what it is that you want to do, because you want to be efficient in what you're doing. You don't want to just tell people, hey, yeah, man, I'm working on my game, and you're at the park working on the same move over and over. Or if you're trying to start a business, okay, just making product, but you don't work on the marketing side. So whenever we look at what it is we're trying to accomplish, I just really think we need to obviously identify what the goal is, think about all the things that are required to do it, but then think about, are there smaller goals that need to be done in there? And then, just to be fair to yourself, is it a realistic goal? And that doesn't mean realistic in terms of it's too hard or too high, but realistic in terms of the time frame you're giving yourself, realistic in terms of the resources that you have at your disposal. It just may mean you have to work a little bit harder. Doesn't mean that you should abandon the goal. By no means am I saying there's goals that are too big or too difficult, but you do need to have a scope. You might be saying, hey, yeah, I'm going to try to start a business and make $1 million in 6 months. I guess with the internet that's possible, but again, is the goal to actually achieve it or just to go around telling people that you're trying to reach certain goals? So keep all that in mind, and as I've been continuing to build this mental fitness curriculum, this would fall under objective awareness, and objective meaning meeting your objective, meeting your goals, and trying to accomplish certain things. So I hope that this episode was of value to you. My name is Mr. Payton. Thank you for your time.